Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. If you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. And for today's video, I am going to talk about being a minimalist, but also being a thrifter, because those two are kind of polar opposites usually, but they can be achievable being both. It is difficult, but just learn the tricks of the trade and you can be both as well. So I'm going to dive right into this video and just kind of talk to you about how to be a minimalist and a thrifter, and kind of some general rules I like to follow that kind of keeps me in my lane, because it's very easy, even for someone like me, to kind of veer off to one or the other. So with that being said, I'm going to start us off with an example, and that is I am always looking on Facebook Marketplace. It's a really amazing invention, I guess if you will, a tool that has been created, and it's one of those things that I can multitask and do. So while I'm sitting at my daughter's gymnastics, or while my husband has a TV show on and we're spending quality time together, but I don't like that TV show, I can do that while he's watching his show. It doesn't happen often, but every once in a while it happens. Anyways, I think you get the point. So while I am on Facebook Marketplace, you have to be careful. You want to browse, always just take a look, see what's posted for today, see if there's anything new, see if there's anything free. I have found so much free stuff on Facebook Marketplace as well, where people just want things gone and picked up, and if you can get there very quickly, you can get stuff for free all the time. That's always my number one go-to. It always really makes my husband mad, because it's very much whoever gets there first, it's on the curb, or first come, first serve, whatever the case may be. And that means I have to interrupt my husband and whatever he's doing to usually use his truck, because it's a bigger item. If not, me and the kids will just go pick up whatever we can that's free. Okay, so you always want to be browsing, kind of just looking, especially for free things, but you also have to be careful that you're not on there for too long. And a lot of times you can get sucked in and something seems really cool and it seems like a great deal and you may need that one day. Those are the things you do not buy. Don't fall for the, oh, it's a great price. Wow, like that's such an awesome price for that item. Don't fall for that. Only buy things you need. And the way you can kind of keep yourself in your lane is by always writing. If you know me, or if you've watched some of my videos, you will now realize I love lists. And I'm always writing them for a good reason. So for example, I am always writing a list for everything, and one of the main things is things I need. So as I'm going along, something I may see or something I may have heard that someone uses. For example, this is totally random, but I was watching on YouTube Chloe CD. So it's Khloe Kardashian, her channel. She's very OCD too, which is why I love her. And in her refrigerator, she had veggie trays with lids. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's genius, because, well, I'll get there, right? So I was like, okay, that's something I am going to look out for while on my browsing or whatever, is something like similar to what she had. And so where that brings me is I found these. I bought 2 of them. They're a little wet right now because I just cleaned them. There's a red one and a white one with 2 lids. I found 2 for $8, and here's my thought process behind this, so you can hear where I'm coming from. Veggie Trays, obviously, are mostly used for parties, for gatherings, to have out, you know, as an appetizer, etc., right? We pretty much, all of us have one of these. I love it. I have kept it because it's been useful, but I pretty much only use it for parties, right? Okay, on the alternative side of that, I cut up veggies every single week. I'm assuming that this video will go up after my grocery shopping one. They're filmed similarly, so I don't, or at the same time, so I don't know which one's gonna go up first. But you will have seen that I cut up all my veggies and put them away. So those are two separate items. They're regular Tupperware as well as a serving dish that are for the same food item, but two separate occasions. Now that's twice as much room that needs to be held or stored, I guess is the right word, in my kitchen. It takes twice as much room. So as an organizing OCD kind of person, I'm thinking that if I can find one product that is for dual purposes, then it'll clear up some space and I have more room. And also in my fridge, instead of having 5,000 different, sorry, my arm's a little shaky. Instead of having 5,000 different containers for different veggies, I could put them in these two veggie trays, separate them out so that way, like for example, let me show you. I could do like celery, carrots, cucumbers, and then in this one I can do I'm trying to think of something else, different types of veggies, or the same veggies, but this one does not have to continuously be opened and closed, because these stack so perfectly on top of each other. See how thin they are? This will take up barely any room in my fridge. So it stores a ton of different type of veggies. It'll take up less room in my fridge, and I can use it as dual purpose for when I have parties. I can just use these instead of the serving, the large, if you can see the difference in size, not only in width, but or in length, but width as well. That's about 1.5 of them. So if you're following me, this is a lot to think about. This is a lot to process, but it makes sense. I can use these to use on an everyday basis, and I can also use these for parties and gatherings for the exact same food. So how that makes me a minimalist is now I can get rid of this tray. I now will no longer need cabinet space to store these because I eat veggies every single week. And so these trays will pretty much stay in my refrigerator at all times, and that frees up this giant thing in a cabinet. So another rule I have going kind of along with this is for every one item in, you get rid of one item. That's my rule for absolutely everything. Clothing, condiments, linens, towels, cosmetic products, lotions. For every one product in, you get rid of one product. That eliminates having to have an excess amount of anything. You don't need that much stuff. I do not need 3 veggie trays, but I do need 2. So I had another veggie tray like this, and it's actually chipped on the side, but it always works, so I never got rid of it. I usually did veggies on this as well for my parties. So now I am going to get rid of these 2 trays and replace them with these 2. What that does is it allows me to be a thrifter because I got these 2 for $8, but it allows me to be a minimalist because I'm getting rid of 2 things. On top of that, even though I just gained 2 items, I've actually cleared up room in my cabinets because I now no longer need all of the containers that I was using my veggies for originally that I keep in my refrigerator, so I can get rid of those. And I also don't need any more space for these containers that I only use for gatherings. So if you're following me, I would say that falls along the lines of being a minimalist and a thrifter. So with that being said, you guys get the idea of how I pretty much do everything in my household. From here on out, when you see something you need, do not, I repeat, please do not just go buy it brand new. I had actually looked up her thing on Amazon, and I will say that hers, each individual veggie slot was removable with its individual lid. Now, that's pretty cool, but it was so expensive and ridiculously overpriced that I could not justify paying that when I could use something just like this. And a purpose of having 2 of them and them being a little bit thinner is I can just take a whole entire tray out and let my kids and myself kind of nibble on whatever we want versus only getting 1 item out of the refrigerator at a time. That gives my kids more options, which if you're a parent, you know that's key, giving your kids options so it feels like it's their choice. And it's just overall better. So with that being said, going forward, you see something you need, you notice if you need something throughout your kitchen or whatever, don't just go to Amazon and buy it. Don't just go to Target and buy it. Write it down and then keep an eye on Facebook Marketplace, Goodwill, wherever you go. Keep an eye out for that item, and that way the next time you see it pop up for a great deal, you can justify buying it. Now, that's normally where I would end the video, right? Well, here is where my financial side kicks in, which doesn't really apply to this item so much because one of them is broken. The other one I think I got from Dollar Tree, obviously for $1. So its resale value is not that high. And honestly, this is probably one of those items that I'll just give to Goodwill. It's much easier doing it that way. But if this were a different scenario, let's say I found a dress that I liked better. I now need to take away one of my dresses because if I bring one in, I take one away. And so I will go through all of my dresses and pick one that needs to leave. Now, I am always going through my items and getting rid of things that are baggy, that are kind of worn. That's the stuff you give to Goodwill. You want to go through all of those items weekly. Those should not be hanging in your closet. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about nice items that are left over after you go through your Goodwill pile. This is when I take one of my brand new dress or used but brand new to me, I will put in my closet and I will take one of those dresses away. Now, let's say Goodwill, you get your dresses for $7.99 unless it's a color where it's like discounted or whatever. Anyways, $7.99, right? So I just spent $7.99 on a dress. I am adding a dress to my collection, but I'm getting rid of one. So what do? You sell the dress, sorry, tongue twisted. You sell the dress that you're giving away for $7.99 or $8. Or honestly, what I do half the time for this same exact any item in my house is I'll sell it for $10. And so not only am I getting rid of something that's old and I don't really use and probably don't really like that much anyways, I get something new and I'm making a profit. So I am thrifting, I am a minimalist, and I'm smart with my money. It is a win-win. If you do this with every single item in your house, you'll be making money. You'll only have nice items. You won't have anything crappy. There's no other word. You'll only have nice things, and you'll constantly be getting the satisfaction of having something new. I think it's well known that as us, pretty much Americans really, we like new. It doesn't necessarily have to have a new tag on it, but we like new to us. So this scratches that itch, as well as being smart. I just gave you all my secrets. That is the tricks of the trade. You follow those 3 things and I promise you your life will be awesome. This video is kind of all over the place and my hand's a little shaky, so I do apologize. But I hope that helps you guys. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to this video. If you found it helpful, share on Facebook. It really helps me out. Tell all your friends and family. And if you know anything that helps make you a thrifter or a minimalist, I would love for you to comment down below and tell me. I love to learn new things and learn other people's ways as well. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I hope you guys are blessed. Bye.